today's video is a little tip on how I got some decent carp that I thought the other day. Let me just set the little story. This was 2 days after the last video you saw, and I was up the same lake with my granddad, so that's why I didn't record. As soon as we got there, he caught a £5 carp. But yeah, this is about how I caught my decent carp. Well, I know a lot of anglers might think these are small carp, but in my eyes, I thought they were pretty good carp. So yeah, let me just get on telling you how I caught them. So from last video, how I caught my £5 carp and a load of other little ones quite quickly in the evening was without using a float. So I used obviously about, I don't know, size 10 to 6 hook. It didn't have a number. They were just mixed hooks like I usually say, so I'm not quite sure. So yeah, I didn't use a float, and I think that makes the carp a little less suspicious. But bearing in mind I was fishing like in the margin, so if you want to cast right out there without a float, it will be quite hard. I also don't use any weights, simply because it will just sink your crust, and it does kind of ruin it a bit for going for big carp. I mean, you can get lucky, but for me, the small fish, there's just so many that will go for your bread when it sinks. It's just a waste of time. Basically, I'm in the margins. I have my biggish hook, that's what I'm going to call it, and crust bread on top. Now obviously, if there's a big carp, you're going to put your bread near it. But if there isn't a big one, there's not much you can do unless it just comes up by surprise. So if you get little ones like that, you can't really odds that, to be honest. So this is my little tactic. You put your bread in the margins. This is just the crust, I don't know why. And obviously you're trying to go for a big carp. So you see this, let's just say £5 to £10 carp coming up, going after some bread. This is what I do, I bait it out, put some bread around there so it gets some feed, and not just the little ones, the big ones comes around and it gets feeding on the bread and it wants it to get more. So what I do is, wherever the carp is feeding on top going, I put my bread in front of it. Sometimes it can spook it, but that's what I mean, you have to be careful. And the carp will just go and spit it out. Or sometimes they don't even look at the bread, they just see the hook and just like, no. When the carp takes it in, and before it spits it out, I strike to the side where it's taken it in. Because if you strike up, which how I usually catch the fish, but if you strike up, it will just take your bread off and spook the fish, and it will go terrible. You'll not be able to do this first time, but if you're not doing big actions so much, or letting the fish see you, you have more of a chance to get that big carp again. Now, so you strike in the direction of the way the carp is taking the bread, and that's how I hooked onto him. So this really worked for me, and I'm going to use it in the next video, which is a carp video, and I'm going to be using this tactic that definitely helped me last time, definitely got me good fish, and it was great. Fish were caught in the margin. I caught 2.5, maybe £3. I did weigh it, I can't remember now. I got one just under £5 and one just over £5. One just under £7. I caught a 9.5 and a 10.5. And I also lost 2 big carp. So this honestly worked, and it was the first time trying it. So I really advise people to maybe take my tips with them and try it. If it doesn't work, I'm sorry, and can't guarantee to get a big carp, because next video I might do this, I might just get small ones. So this definitely helped, and if next video this does work, then this is probably my tactic for carp on top. Thank you for watching. Be sure to check out my fishing videos. God, last time I did a video like this, I didn't have any fishing vids. So thanks for watching. Please take this tip, or just try it once. If it doesn't work, like I say, I'm sorry. but you might find it helps, because it worked for me. But that was only once, so I'll have to try it a few more times. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.